waiting is the hardest part, the absolute worst, hardest part, because you have a million different thoughts going through your head. So many of you guys have prayed for me, have sent me well wishes. You guys are amazing. That is the best gift I could ever receive. When people think of you and when they pray for you, and you guys, that meant so much to me. Get your boobies checked, ladies, because you don't know. You just don't know. Because when things like this happen, you pray, and you pray very, very hard. Hey friends, welcome back to the Bumblebee Farmhouse. I'm so glad that you guys are here hanging out with me today and that you can join me. I always say that the Bumblebee Farmhouse is a little place where I hope that you can find some inspiration to make your house a home sweet home. So as some of you guys may know, the last probably almost 3 weeks have been pretty stressful for me. I have been going through a rough season in my life, as I'm sure so many of you guys do. I think we all have our rough seasons in life. This year was incredibly hard. We had a lot going on, and it just progressed to more and more. I don't know if you guys know, some of you guys may know, some of you guys may not know, but I've put a couple posts out, and then I've also talked about it in one of my fall inspiration decorate with me's. I had gone for my mammogram a few weeks ago, probably 2.5, almost 3 weeks ago, and they gave me a call back to come back in for more imaging for diagnostic because they needed to see more imaging because something new had popped up on my mammogram. Last year I went for my first mammogram. I was 39 years old. Now I'm 40 years old. And last year we found a lump, so I went to the doctor and she ordered a mammogram, and then I went in and then they did a mammogram and an ultrasound, and that was determined that it was benign. So the process on that last year was so much easier, like technicality wise, because this year it was like a completely different process. And no matter what, last year the waiting was about 3 weeks by the time I could get in, make my appointments, and get everything done. And it was about the same this time. So the waiting, no matter what, is always extremely, extremely stressful. This year something new showed up, and I was like, again, second year in a row, it's exhausting. It is very mentally exhausting. So this year I went a few weeks ago, and I went in for my mammogram. They found something on my mammogram, something completely new that wasn't there last year. So they called me in for more imaging. And so I went in, and they did another mammogram, and they took a lot more images. And then they told me that I had suspicious looking microcalcifications on my breast. So they ordered a biopsy because it was suspicious. So there was a small or some sort of chance that it would be cancer. And nobody wants to hear that word. It is terrifying when they bring you in the back of an office to kind of go over your options with you if it were the worst case scenario. And then they kind of explained the biopsy to me and what would happen and how it would work. So I went ahead and I scheduled it. They wanted to get me like 2 weeks out after that. And I was like, do you have anything sooner? Because I'm the kind of person that wants to get it done and over with. I am not a person that like waits on things, I guess. So I was like really pushing, and then they found out that they had a cancellation, and they were able to get me in, I think like 6 days after that initial consultation. So last Wednesday, I went in for my biopsy last Wednesday morning. It was the most painful thing I have ever had done to me. I know some women that said that, you know, it wasn't that painful. I don't think that they numbed me enough, or they gave me enough, they injected enough to numb me. They had this thick needle that just shot right into the middle of my breast, and I felt everything. It was the worst experience. I yelled out. I might have sworn out, like it just came out. I didn't like, you know, yell or swear at the technician and the nurse. It just like, you know, came out because I was in so much pain. And like they were trying to get my mind off of the pain and like talk to me about other things. And then they gave me more numbing, but once they put more numbing, it like my whole breast felt like it was burning. This all happened on my right breast and I couldn't feel anything. So if you guys, even if you don't feel anything, still go get your mammograms because you don't know what's going on in your body. And like I had something like forming that they weren't sure of, that they were suspicious of, and you couldn't feel it. It wasn't like a lump or a bump or anything. Like last year I could feel like on the bottom of my breast, I could feel a lump, but that ended up being benign through the ultrasound. I was kind of hoping that I would get an ultrasound and go through the same process this time, but it was completely different. It was very painful. I hope I never have to get one of those done again, but you don't know. I know people who've had several of them. It's just not, it is not fun. So anyway, the waiting is the hardest part, the absolute worst, hardest part, because you have a million different thoughts going through your head. So many of you guys have prayed for me, have sent me well wishes. You guys are amazing. Some of you guys have reached out to me on Instagram and left me voice messages and like direct messages, and some of you have become like my personal friends, and you guys have texted me and checked in on me, and just the messages that you've left here on my community posts and on my videos. And you guys, that meant so much to me. That is the best gift I could ever receive. When people think of you and when they pray for you, that made me cry so many times. It's making me cry right now. So I got my results and I'm so grateful to God that my results came back benign. I have something, it has a name. It does put me at higher risk to develop breast cancer. It puts me at 1.5 to 2 times higher to develop breast cancer. There's 2 versions of it. I have the lower version. The higher version, which I do not have, that puts you at 4 times greater risk to developing breast cancer. So I'm at the lower end, which I'm very grateful for that, but it could still happen. You don't know. Nobody knows what's going to happen. But I do believe that God heard all the prayers and he heard me, because when things like this happen, you pray, and you pray very, very hard, because I let it consume me. That's all I could think of. And so I prayed so much. I can't even begin to tell you how much I prayed, but I'm very grateful that God heard, and it is benign. I'm a little confused because also with that being benign, they're recommending me, they're going to set up an appointment with a breast surgeon. That's where I'm really confused, because if it's benign and it's not bothering me, I don't see why I need to go have a consultation with a breast surgeon, but I'm going to go. I'm going to go anyway, regardless. And I actually called up my friend Johnny last night to talk to him. He's an OBGYN. He works at a hospital in Chicago. So he's not my OBGYN, but he is amazing if I need advice. And so I called him last night, and he was on his way to work to do an overnight shift at the hospital. And he had me read my mammogram report to him and my biopsy report to him, which I did. And he said, okay, everything falls with being benign. Everything looks good. He says the reason why I'll most likely have to have a consultation with the breast surgeon is the breast surgeon can read the reports better because they're more educated. There's a specialist. So I'll probably go to him to have the reports read to me, because the nurse wouldn't do it over the phone. And then he said that most likely what they'll do is, because they left the titanium marker in my breast, most likely what they're going to have me do is probably go for more mammograms more often. So just to make sure that nothing changes on that lesion that I have, even though it's benign. So they'll probably want to keep an eye on it, he said. So most likely what they'll do is have me come in every 6 months for a mammogram, like probably 6 months at a time, 6 months at a time, possibly one more 6 months at a time. And then if nothing changes and everything stays the same on that, then they'll probably have me come in every once a year after that. So they probably want to keep an eye on it. That's my understanding from what he said. He's like, don't worry about anything right now, which gave me peace of mind because I was so happy when I saw benign, but then I was really confused as to why I would need to see a breast surgeon. So I talked to him. I read him my results. He went over my reports with me and he's like, don't worry about anything right now. It's most likely for precautionary, just to make sure that it doesn't change. It is very terrifying that I am at a higher risk for developing something like that, breast cancer, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. So I always say, like, now I'm like, get your boobies checked, ladies, because you don't know. You just don't know. So I am extremely grateful that my results came out benign. I am so grateful to you guys that you guys all wished me well and you prayed for me. You guys have no idea how much that means to me. That meant the absolute world to me that you guys did that for me. It's just like the kindness. It was very, like, I really felt it, you guys. I really, really did. And I would read your comments out loud to Danny and I would like start bawling when I would read them because it was just such a beautiful thing what you guys did for me. And I'm so grateful and so appreciative to it. I didn't know where my channel would stand. I didn't know, like, would I continue with the Bumblebee Farmhouse? Like, what would happen? I was not in like the best spirits. I'm still exhausted. You guys, look at my face. I'm so tired. I have not been sleeping well. And last night I might have slept a little bit better, but it's just in the back of my mind that it could be something one day. But I'm going to have to just put that on the back burner, go to my appointments. There's going to be a lot of medical bills coming in, which is kind of scary, but Danny's like, don't worry about it. Let them come in. We'll make payments. Like, he's like, it's not a big deal. Like, he's so mellow. He's like my complete opposite. Cause like, I'm like all the way up here with my stress and then he's like all the way here. And then somehow we balance each other out. So I don't want to lose my breasts. Sometimes as women, we might say we don't like certain parts about us. We're unhappy with certain things in our body until there's a possibility that gets taken away. I love my body. I love my breasts. I don't want to lose my breasts. It's a very scary thought and I love all of my body, but it's just a very extremely scary thought to be going through. So I'm, again, very, very grateful that it is benign. I'm very curious to see what a breast surgeon is going to say to me. I don't think he would recommend surgery right now because I talked to my friend who's an OBGYN. He goes, I don't see why that would be recommended right now because everything's benign and it's not bothering you. You're not in pain. He's like, most likely it's just going to be more imaging more frequently, which I guess I'm okay with because it's better to be on top of things. So on my channel, I am planning on starting to film some decorate with me's, some vignettes in the living room and probably in the family room and then in the kitchen a little bit for fall. I don't think I'm gonna go like all crazy in the kitchen, but I am gonna do a few things in the kitchen. So that'll all probably start this week. I know I had some handbag reviews. I probably will have a few more handbag reviews coming up in the near month or so, probably, because there's a few more companies that reached out to me. And you guys, I'm a girl. I can't say no to a beautiful handbag. So I will probably have something like a few more of those come out in the near future. But I am planning on doing lots of decorating and I'll probably start throwing in some cooking. I was talking to my cousin who's a chiropractor and last night, and we were talking about lifestyle changes. And there's a lot that I do want to change, and I've noticed that like slow and steady totally works better than doing everything cold turkey. I have cut back on my sugar significantly. I am actually taking a supplement called berberine where it helps to balance your blood sugar because I have PCOS. So I'm kind of insulin resistant and my blood sugar it's all off the charts, even though I'm not diabetic. But I'm always craving sugar and starch. And so I've been taking a supplement called berberine, and I was taking this 3 years ago when I lost about 50 pounds. And so I went back to the berberine, and that has actually controlled my sugar cravings. Like, it doesn't control your food cravings. You're still going to want to eat food, which is good. You know, it's healthy to eat food. But I think sugar was half of my battle. So I'm starting to make some lifestyle changes, and I started the berberine probably 5 weeks ago. And then I would say 6 or 7 weeks ago, I started kind of like walking in the morning. But the last 3 weeks I have been in a horribly depressed lump where I have not done that. But I have also lost, in probably like around the last 6 to 7 weeks, almost 14 pounds, which is a huge deal. So I'm making lifestyle changes because sugar causes inflammation, and cancer kind of feeds off of that. So I've cut back on the sugar so much, on the added sugar. So added sugar wise, I'm probably consuming anywhere from like 5 to maybe 25 grams a day, sometimes 0, just depending on my day. And I've noticed that like my hands don't cramp up as much, and I've just been feeling better when I don't eat a lot of processed sugar. So I've cut back on my sugar so much. I've lost some weight. I need to lose some more weight, so I need to keep going. And then to help me along doing that, I'm doing the iTrack Bites Conquer Cravings, which was the original Weight Watchers points from like 2009, around there, 2008. So then that's just pretty much counting calories. It's a higher fiber, lower calorie diet. So I'm doing that. I told Danny last night, I think we need to start cutting back on the red meat, and probably some of the processed meat. And I'm not saying just go cold turkey and never eat it again, but I think cutting back on it would probably be good for us. So I probably eat red meat 2 times a week, about. And so I told him, let's try to cut back to 1 time a week. And then, you know, little by little, maybe we can do it like once every other week. So we'll be eating more chicken, more turkey, lots more fish, wild caught fish. So there's going to be some changes in the diet. And I'm saying we'll never eat red meat again, but I think we're going to cut back. So instead of eating it maybe twice a week, let's go to once a week rather than 2 times a week, and then kind of go on from there. I do want to start walking again. I am in a better place. I'm still worried and like nervous that I have to go and see a breast surgeon, but it could be nothing. Like my one friend Jen told me that she just went to go see a breast surgeon to read her results to her. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to go. My insurance doesn't cover specialists, so I'm going to have to make a phone call and see what they charge for an appointment to be just cash only. I have horrible insurance, horrible insurance. And ever since the insurance changed back in, what was it, like 2009, sometime in there, I lost great insurance that was reasonably affordable. And now I can't even afford a crappy package, like a horrible package. So it's a really sad what happened with health insurance in this country, but I do have major medical. So I don't know if it's going to cover my biopsy. I don't know if any of those bills are going to get covered. Like last year I had to pay out of pocket for my ultrasound. So I'm assuming my biopsy, I'm going to get a ridiculous bill. But Danny is like, don't worry about it. Like, we'll just make payments. We'll see if we can talk them down on price. We'll see what happens. So he's like, just please don't worry about that. Like, just worry that you're okay. And like I said, I am extremely grateful to God and to all of you guys for all of the prayers that it did come back benign. It doesn't put me in the clear that it'll never come back or nothing else will come again, but I am going to try to take even better care of myself, and hopefully that will kind of help. I think cutting sugar out was like a huge, like big deal. Like I said, because I have been feeling so much better without consuming it. To me, if you don't have health and if you don't have God, I feel like you have nothing in life, because without God, I tell Danny all the time, God made everything in our lives possible. And I might not be living the life that I planned, but isn't there like a saying, like, tell God your plans and he'll laugh at you? Because pretty much that's been it. Like that has been life. So I can try to make all the plans I want, and I don't know how I'm going to go about them because I don't know what's happening in life. But I did want to do that German schmear brick wall on a couple of the walls in our house. I don't know when I'm going to go in for an appointment. I'm hoping that in the autumn I can get started on that project. I'm just kind of waiting to see how my appointment's gonna go with the breast surgeon. My friend Johnny told me, don't worry about it. Like, you know, just don't worry about anything right now until you go in and see what they say. But he kind of gave me the gist about what they were gonna tell me. So I do wanna do that project. I have not paid attention to my garden in the last 3 weeks because I have been in such an emotional slump. It has been hard to care about anything other than what's been going on in my head. Like, and I feel bad for Danny because he has to deal with it. But he's been actually really, really supportive and like super great about everything. So I do want to do that project eventually. And then we were talking about going to the Smokies in November. I don't know if that's going to happen now just because of all the bills that are probably going to be coming in, even though he keeps telling me, don't worry about it. Like, we can still go do whatever. I'm the one who worries. So I don't know, maybe we'll do Door County for a night or two up in Wisconsin. Maybe we will go to the Smokies. I don't know. And then I do want to go to Florida probably in February or March to visit some of my friends. That would be wonderful. And then like just to get out of the weather here, because we all know that the weather in the Midwest in the winter is completely brutal, so I won't be enjoying that. So we might go out of town then. Like I said, these are just plans that I put out there and I'm hoping that we can do them. And then I will start filming Decorate With Me's probably this week to start putting some of that content out next week. Followed by at some point another fall home tour, because the ones that you saw was from autumns past. So it'll be a little bit different this year. I will do a couple of Halloween vignettes, probably 2 vignettes. I don't like celebrate Halloween. I just think the decor is very cute. And I'm not talking about the decorations with the gory skulls and the blood. I'm talking about the adorable jack-o'-lanterns and such. And I don't even think I really celebrate Halloween because I make a point of it not to be home to hand out candy. I usually leave some candy out, or I just don't do anything and I go grocery shopping that night or like hang out at Costco until trick-or-treating is over. I'm just not into what Halloween is about. I just like the cute decorations because it kind of falls in and ties in with autumn. So I don't take Halloween seriously, but and then we'll get into Christmas. And I do have a King of Christmas tree. It's actually in my closet right there. It's that tree will most likely be going up in this walk-in closet beauty room, and I'll film for that too. But I mean, we'll do some autumn and then we'll get into Christmas, and that's kind of the basis of what's probably going to be happening on my channel soon. With my plan for what's going to be happening on my channel, there'll probably be some great collaborations with some of you content creators. I'm looking forward to, you know, doing some collaborations and getting to know some new audiences and growing my YouTube family, which is wonderful because you guys are just all so great. It gives me the biggest smile when I hear from you guys. Like, I read my comments out to Danny. He like, you know, he doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he knows how like happy, he knows how happy it makes me. So, yeah, I've been rambling a lot and I don't even know if I'm gonna edit this video out a lot, but I'm so happy that my biopsy came back negative. I'm gonna wait and see what the breast surgeon says. Some people say they just read results. I mean, I don't know. I looked up what I had, and a lot of the times they said with what I have, there is no treatment that's necessary to follow up. So I don't know what that is, but everyone's telling me, don't worry, live your life, enjoy your life. And I'm going to keep praying to God that everything is going to be good. And I already prayed to him that I'm so grateful and thankful that this came back benign, and I'm very, very, very happy. And so that's pretty much everything. But anyway, I'm glad that you guys hung out with me to like hang out and like listen to all of this and me rambling, and sorry guys, but we'll catch up soon and we'll talk soon. And I want to thank you guys again for checking in on me, for praying for me, for thinking of me, for just telling me that you're thinking of me. Like, that was such a huge deal, because when we fall into these slumps, it's easy to feel alone, and having you guys helped a great amount. It helped tremendously. But we'll talk soon, and I can't wait to get back into my YouTube groove, and we will catch up soon. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and we will catch up soon. All right, bye.